Hi guys, Darth Deuces, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing my top 10 Black Series 3 3/4 inch action figures. I will be doing a top 10 6-inch soon, but I'm waiting for something to come in the mail, which is probably going to affect that list, so I'm going to wait till that comes in the mail. It should be coming in any day now. But for now, I'm going to be showing you my top 10 3 3/4 inch Black Series figures. Now, the Black Series 3 3/4 inch line has been okay. It's dwindled over the past year, It's moved to a Walmart exclusive. There haven't been as many figures. Some would say the quality's gone down, which to a degree it has, and the price has gone up. But there were some really great figures that came out of the line too. I'm going to share my favorites. I don't have all of them, keep in mind, but I have a lot of the ones I've been wanting anyways, so this list wouldn't change much even if I did have all of them. Anyways, first I'm going to give two honorable mentions. First one is the very first Black Series Darth Vader that they released. This guy would be on the main list, but there's a figure that just trumps it, so this one's on the honorable mentions. That being said, it's still a great Darth Vader. It uses a good sculpt. Articulation's good. I like the soft goods on this figure. The head sculpt is new, I believe, for this figure, and I thought it looked pretty good, and it still looks pretty good. He came with a bunch of accessories, interchangeable parts for Empire Strikes Back, so you can recreate a lot of really cool scenes, like the dinner table scene, which I think is really cool with this figure, and definitely worth a pickup if you want to recreate those scenes. I think this is a great Darth Vader, and that's an honorable mention for sure. Next honorable mention is the more recent figure, is the Force Awakens Han Solo. This is a really solid figure. I think the only thing that brings it down for the most part is they still gave him brown hair, even though he's supposed to have grayer hair. And they chose to do Starkiller base as opposed to just a normal, full super articulated release. I mean, it's cool we got the Starkiller base one, but I would have liked the normal one because this one is extremely scene specific. But anyways, those are the two honorable mentions. We'll get right onto the list now with number 10, which may be a little bit of a surprise, but it is actually this little guy, Yoda. Now, when we saw the prototype pictures, we were all excited for this figure. An Empire Strikes Back 3 3/4 inch Yoda. He looked amazing, and then we got this guy. Now, well, I won't say he's a terrible figure because I don't think he is at all. He could have been so much better. But that being said, I think the sculpt of this guy is really great. I love the head sculpt. The paint apps on this guy are pretty clean, and he does look really, really good. Just standing around and having some photos in him, he looks really nice. That being said, the robe could have been better. They did add a little bit of fraying, but the robe they were originally going to use and the robe they ended up using, they should have used the original robe with the more rougher material. This one's a bit too clean. He has barely any articulation. He's really inarticulated, which really sucks. I mean, obviously he shouldn't have a whole lot of articulation, but I would have at least liked him to be able to, point his cane out and stuff, and you can't even do that. You can literally get him just standing there and then maybe doing a forced gesture or whatever. He was really meant just to be an accessory to the Dagobah Luke, which unfortunately I don't have, and they should have packed them together because paying full price for just this figure kind of sucks. I got him on sale, so it's not as bad, but still, that being said, I think he's a classic character, and the sculpt makes him look really, really good, and he's my number 10. So number 9 is actually the more recent Black Series Rey figure. I liked Rey more than I thought I was going to in the movie, so I like her a bit more, and I wanted to get a figure of her. I still don't have the Black Series one yet. I'm waiting to see if I can find the one that was repacked with the lightsaber. But this 3 3/4 inch one's pretty cool. She has some great articulations. Comes with a bunch of accessories, which is really nice. Sculpt is good, and I think it's just a really good representation of the character in the 3 3/4 inch form. So that's number 9. Number 8 is another Force Awakens Black Series, and that is Kylo Ren. This is a really cool figure. He definitely wasn't higher on the list, but I have one big issue. That is, he is too damn tall. He shouldn't be as tall as Captain Phasma, and he sure as hell shouldn't be taller than Darth Vader standing straight up. They just got that really off. He stands way too tall. Aside from that, the only other issue is the fact he can't move his head too much, but that doesn't really bother me. Accessories are good, sculpt is good, articulation's great, and soft goods works well. It's a great figure. It's just too tall. Moving on to number 7, yes, is a figure that was definitely highly anticipated when it was announced. And some people were maybe a little let off by it, but I think it's still a really solid figure. I really like it, and it is Mara Jade. Before we only got one Mara Jade before this, and it was an okay figure, but we got this one, and I really like this one a lot. I think the sculpt is great. A lot of people complained about the hair and the head sculpt. It doesn't really bother me too much. I like it. She came with a bunch of great accessories, great articulation. I think it's just a really solid figure. I really like this figure. Anyways, that is NumberSeven. NumberSix is another highly anticipated figure, and I'm a little biased. This guy probably be lower on the list, but I'm a little biased, so he's a bit higher on the list. But it is Darth Plagueis. Because I'm as a big Sith fanatic, I had to have this guy. I was really worried I wasn't going to find him, but I got lucky and I did find him. And he is a great figure. I really do like him. I read the book Darth Plagueis, which is a great book, a great read. I really like it, and I really like the character. And the figure does it justice for the most part. Accessories are really great on this figure. The soft goods robe actually looks really good and works really well. Sculpt and paint is just really nice. My only real problem is that because he's so small, his articulation is a little fragile, and his accessories, some accessories such as the mask, I gotta be really careful because the strap on it looks like it's about to snap, so he's a bit fragile. But aside from that, this is a really cool figure and I really like it a lot. Moving on is a repack in the Black Series line. This is figures originally released in the Vintage Collection, but I'm going to count the repack because this is when I got it. It is the Star Killer from The Force Unleashed 2. They repacked this figure in the Black Series, and I never got the Vintage Collection release, and this is a really great figure, and I'm really glad they've repacked it. It made it a bit easier to get. I really like this figure a lot. Sculpt is great. The paint they used, so the hair is a little off, but because it's so dark colors, you can barely tell, so it doesn't bother me too much. And he just comes packed with accessories and display options. I just love this figure a lot. That is NumberFive. Gotta keep track, I keep forgetting. NumberFour is probably, in my opinion, is the best Force Awakens 3 3/4 inch figure they've released so far. At least it's my favorite. It is the recent Captain Phasma 3 3/4 inch figure. This is definitely probably the best 3 3/4 inch Phasma we've gotten. Great articulation, great sculpt. The silver paint looks pretty good for the most part. It has a lot less paint errors than the Stormtrooper did, which is why that one's not on the list. The paint errors are just so bad. The articulation is not as loose on it. Great accessories. The cape's really, I think, looks really nice, and the blaster is good, and it has the right height, and just a really cool figure. I really like this one. So that is NumberFour. Getting down to the last three, we have here a Jedi, which is Pablo Gil. Pretty much a background character, not a whole lot on this guy, but just the sculpting and everything on this guy is great. He has the Jedi robe, which actually works really well, flows pretty nicely on him. Got his lightsaber there. He has great articulation. He's one of the few 3 3/4 inch figures that actually have a rocker joint at the foot. The sculpt is great because he's an alien. He has a much more unique sculpt in the torso. He's got a bit of a hunch. He's got the wacky legs going on. He's got this really awesome head sculpt. And it's just a really cool figure. Definitely worthy of top 3. So that is NumberThree. And number 2 is probably one of my favorite Clone Trooper figures, and is Clone Commander Neo. This is a really, really nice figure. He uses the Vintage Collection Clone Trooper sculpt. He has amazing paint apps. The white and the reds, it looks really nice. The sculpt of the pauldron looks good. And he has this wash over him, which makes him look all dirty and battle worn, which I think looks absolutely awesome. He has this awesome new head sculpt with him, which looks great with the tattoos painted there. The paint apps is really good. Accessories are good. He has the removable helmet, which looks awesome. The only issue I really have with this figure is the fact that mine has a slight paint defect where the mouthpiece paint goes off a little bit, but it's not a huge issue, and this is a really awesome figure. Definitely one of my favorite Clone Trooper figures, and that is at number 2. And at number 1, you guys could probably guess what this figure is. If the first Black Series Darth Vader didn't get in, well, you know which one did get in, and at number 1 is probably my favorite 3 3/4 inch figure of all time. The Black Series Revenge of the Sith Darth Vader. This is such a good figure. I got the later release in the newer packaging, so mine doesn't have all the loose popping off joints. My guys' joints stay on just fine. Soft goods are good for the most part. The soft goods cape's good. The only thing that really bothers me with this figure is the soft goods in the lower is a bit too big, so it kind of flays around a bit. But aside from that, paint apps are good for the most part. There's some of it that's a little off. It's not too bad. accessories are good. He actually comes with a lightsaber hilt, which is something Vader figures don't usually come with, and the lightsaber looks really nice. Articulation's off the hook on this guy. You got a ball hinge at the head, which you almost never see on a Darth Vader figure. You got rocker joints in the wrists, or the ankles. Articulated hinges at the wrist. Ball hinges everywhere on this figure. You can get this guy in some amazing poses. The head sculpt on this guy is definitely also what makes this figure. It looks so good. I mean, it trumps the 6-inch Black Series Darth Vader in terms of sculpt. It is an amazing head sculpt, and one of the best Star Wars 3 3/4-inch figures to be released, in my opinion. Just such a great figure, and it is #1. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what your guys' top 10 Black Series figures are, either in a video or in the comments below. I'd like to hear what you guys, or at least your favorite Black Series 3 3/4-inch figures. I'd like to hear what you guys are your favorites. Thank you guys so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.